What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Vulkan, and today we are talking Remnant from the Ashes. Now, this is something I've wanted to talk about for quite some time, and that is, what does Remnant need to do to stay relevant in the ever-changing gaming landscape? How does it hold a light to the Borderlands 3, to the Code Veins, to the Surge 2s out there in the world? I mean, even to the Destiny 2 Shadow Keeps that are coming out. How does this really stand strong and carve out its niche? I mean, I think it has a good foundation, a good system right now, but we just need some things added. So this video is going to be the top 5 things that I believe should be added that'll have the most impact to the game in terms of replayability and longevity. But I also have some honorable mentions after my top 5 that I've read through the comments and I think would really fit in well here. So let's get started. Number 1, this is hands down more content. You know, what they have today is great. It just needs to be expanded upon. Let's learn about the other wards. What happened with those? Perhaps they can serve as conduits or jump points to other world hubs. What did they discover? What happened to them? Did they become overrun? Is this possibly the beginning of a system where you go clear out a ward and that ward unlocks connections to other worlds? But this is where that more content comes in. We need more areas to visit, worlds. We need more bosses, more dungeons. I would love to explore the backstory for all the key characters. I would love to explore where we, the main character, came from in the very beginning on that boat. Where was that? But ultimately, this one obviously is number 1 because we just need more. We're hungry for it. Let's go, Gunfire Games. Give us what we want and let's get this thing knocked out. Number 2, a reason to do nightmare mode. Hell, a reason to do anything beyond normal mode. Right now, there really is not a reason to do nightmare other than bragging rights, right? I would like to see this expanded. I have a couple ideas that might play into this. Let me know what you guys think or what your ideas are for nightmare mode. 1, masterwork gear. This is improved versions of the normal drops. For instance, let's take the Defiler that drops from Harrow. The masterwork version gains explosive shots, and its mod summons a mini version of Harrow with 2 charges rather than the radioactive volley. Obviously, this is just an example, probably not a great one, but still you get the idea. It drastically changes the way this weapon fits in. Now, if you have the nightmare version, you can obviously have the normal and hard mode version as well. It just gives you something different to kind of tinker with. Number 2, map works. In Nightmare, bosses drop maps of the other wards. These can be redeemed to launch a search party or a rescue mission, whatever, some sort of mission into these other facilities, which is a much more challenging and rewarding dungeon than you typically run into. Rescuing these wards could possibly unlock the other worlds and could be a prerequisite, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure, obviously, how that would play out with all like the casuals and things like that, but this is something that we need to take note of. And, you know, that could also lead to a specific set of gear that gives you those bragging rights. You know, I completed all the maps, you know, I cleared all the wards type of thing. And then the third one is an extra gear set bonus. So the possibility of a 4-piece bonus from world drops and or bosses in nightmare mode. For an example, the Ex-Cultist Totem, a neck piece that grants a bonus if wearing full 3-piece Ex-Cultist that increases all mod damage done or elemental damage done if you want. Something like that, right? Where it gives that random 4-piece bonus that'll then take that set to the next level, give it a little more versatility, and that'll be something that people could go out and farm for. So these are 3 ideas. I'm curious what you guys think, but also what do you guys think about nightmare mode and how would you kind of twist it or tinker with it to make it a little bit more worthwhile? So that's number 2. Number 3 is horde mode. This one speaks for itself. A lot of people have really wanted this one. I know I've wanted this one, and I would love to see a horde mode in the game. You know, the longer that you last, the more materials and mode specific gear that you get. And like I said, this has been such a requested feature since launch, and it's already in the game to a certain extent with the Metamorphosis event, and I think it would work well. Number 4, raids. Another thing that people have been clamoring for, and I agree on, are raids. I would love to see some hardcore content that puts you in a party of 3 to 6 survivors that requires some strategy, dedicated roles, and coordination. Having a healer, a tank, some DPS, working through a gauntlet of bosses and mini bosses would be an absolute blast. Like I love like raid style content. I love raid style things and really kind of working together as a team. You know, you guys know I like World of Warcraft, so I raided 40 mans back in the day. I do not want to do that again per se, but having like a 10-man raid go into like Ice Crown Citadel, I really enjoyed. So having something like this would be really fun, just to get all, you know, some friends on Discord and, hey, you know, let's try to tackle, you know, Ward 7, the raid, or let's try to tackle the palace in Yeisha and see if we can't beat the queen or the princess or whatever. So things like that would be super cool, and you get that mode specific gear, and they can really kit this game out and build it on these type of cooperative events. So I think there's lots of potential right here. Number 5, an appearance system. Something that I think needs to be further implemented in this game, and something that is already in the game, is an appearance system. And you already have it, right? If you pre-ordered, you have different skins for each starting class, and you can change the appearance of your gear easily. They just need to expand this feature to include anything you've unlocked. Now, I don't know what their stance is on, well, you know, we don't want to have you in all Slayer gear, but you look like the Scrapper, or vice versa. I don't know what Gunfire Games thinks about that. Personally, I think it doesn't really matter. Let people look the way they want to look. Let people play they want to play. It's a game where there's fantasy and magic and root and things like that, so you don't have to worry about realism or anything. This isn't Ghost Recon. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, an appearance system, I think, will be the easiest thing for them to implement, like right then, just right, boom, right there, done, because it's already in the game. It's already there. Now, moving into the honorable mentions, few things. These are going to be really quick, but adjusted boss encounters. I saw this multiple times. Make bosses more difficult and less reliant on swarms of ads. This creates an incredibly frustrating experience and frustrating encounters because you're not fighting the boss. You're fighting all the minions they summon. And I would agree. It's incredibly frustrating to, you know, I just want to fight Gorefist. I just want to fight Harrow. I don't want to fight the legions of ads that this guy spawns and then get a couple of pot shots in and slowly work him down. I want the boss to be difficult. Why is he a boss? You know, why is he the alpha amongst all these minions when he's not doing as much damage to me as the minions are? That's a thing. Unique world elites is another one. Planet-specific baddies that are tough to bring down, right? You just happen to stumble upon them, you're out doing your own thing, and here these guys are. Once they're defeated, they drop specific gear to them, and like I said, they're world-specific, so I would like to see them similar to a world boss like Singe or Int or whatever, just a little bit, like mechanically like that, but a little bit smaller, but out roaming. I think that would fit really well into the game. Daily and weekly rewards. So things to log in, do each day. Maybe there's something that, you know, go back and replay Leto's dungeon because the root have taken it back over, or, you know, something like that. A weekly reward of clear out Yeisha because, you know, the locals are rising up again type of thing. That is something that I think could fit in as well. And it would be a nice little thing for the individuals who can't play a lot, you know, the busy parents, the people who work the 8 to 6, or don't really have a lot of time to play games. They could pop in, do these daily and weeklies and get that scrap, that luminite that they need. And then they can go out and they can spend it. They don't have to spend hours grinding for it. If you do spend hours grinding, then obviously you'll have a bunch more, but that's something that will kind of entice those people to log back in and continue playing. And lastly, this is something that I really want to mention, and that is a PvP mode. I know there's a lot of people that don't want this at all. I get it. I totally get it, but this is just my 2 cents. I think a PvP arena and objective mode would be incredibly fun. Running either like a one-on-one, like a duel, a 2v2, or a 3v3, like a deathmatch, or maybe a capture the red eye, like the crystal, would be really cool. So here's what I'm thinking. Everyone that's in the match all picks from one of the starter classes, including their starting gear and their starting traits. Then each player gets 20 trait points to spend, and they get to pick one extra trait from the catalog. All the traits are unlocked, you just pick the one you want, but those 20 points are spread across those 4 then traits, right? So you can kind of spec into what you want. All players get access to all the mods. They pick 2. Afterwards, you cannot change it, so whatever you pick is yours. And I think this would make for some really cool kind of encounters. It'd be fun, interesting combinations. You'd still be able to keep the identity of each class, like starting class. So this is something that I think would work well. But the one thing that would be interesting is how they would balance it. Would it be a template style balance where everything does equalize damage? So all of them obviously start off with a repeater pistol, so everybody would have a repeater pistol. But you'd have the shotgun versus the coach gun versus the hunting rifle. So would the long guns deal slightly different damage, or they deal the same amount of damage just depending on range? There's a whole lot that goes into this, but I do think it is worth noting. So guys, those are the top 5 things that I think Remnant needs to do to stay relevant. Thank you guys so much for all of the interaction on that post. You guys have some fantastic ideas, and I've let the developers know just, hey, stop by this post and read through these because there's some great stuff out there. So hopefully they'll go through and read some of that. Either way, guys, thank you so much for being so interactive, and let me know what you guys think of all of these ideas. Do you think that all of these are decent? Do you think they're terrible? Do you think they would work, wouldn't work? This is just me kind of putting my thoughts onto paper and then chatting with you guys about it. So as always, appreciate you guys. This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.